Okay, I welcome you to another episode of the 100 Film Project. Today's review is also it's about a show that I saw recently. As you know, I'm trying to include different genres of film that I watch through the year. This could be a feature film of about 2 hours. It could be a documentary series, a TV series. For me, the focus is on the audiovisual medium with this project and not just a film in the regular definition. So I'm expanding this project to also include TV series, documentary series, and other sort of video projects I engage in through the year. So today's review is about Alaska Daily. It's this wonderful show that I saw recently. It has 11 episodes, and it's the story of a journalist. The name of the journalist is Eileen Fitzgerald. She's played by Hilary Swank, the Academy Award-winning direct actress. Um, so the story is basically this: is that she has this high-profile journalism job in New York, and she runs this story, and eventually because of the way she does her work, she's very cutthroat. She doesn't I mean, it's perceived as her not being very nice to her colleagues, and like to the point. She needs all the facts for her story, and she's a very good journalist. But a lot of people don't like her reporting because she obviously gets people angry with the things she writes about. So eventually, she loses her job in New York, and she has to move to this small local newspaper in Anchorage, in Alaska. And yeah, in that first episode, I was just invested in this character as soon as I saw this fall from disgrace. And I think the story or this entire series basically shows you how a local newspaper runs. You know how each person in that newspaper office, it's called the Alaska Daily, had a particular beat they had to cover, and then there is the editor who has to you know review all their work, but he also has to consider the views of the owner of the paper that puts in the money. So, there's always this tension between writing about things by the reporters, like breakthrough journalism, but not writing about things that may critique, the owner directly or some of their business interests directly. So, Eileen Fitzgerald, there's a lot of things that they write about. I think one of the bigger issues is this case of missing an indigenous woman in that region, and also about some of the business investments that is encroaching on indigenous land in that region. So I really like the movie because the main character, Eileen Fitzgerald, I think you get to really understand the worldview of a journalist through her portrayal of this role. How to really write a story, you need to corroborate your information from multiple sources. You need to understand the relevance of that story in that particular context. How you need good sources to write a good story. You just can't write a good story out of thin air. Um, so I think these were some of the main takeaways. I also really like the focus on it being like a local paper. I thought that was really charming and endearing. Um, how the focus was not these global issues in that paper, but things that were happening in that town, like a community fair, and how these journalists were so passionate about doing their job with so much dedication. And it's not an easy job, like um, a lot of these journalists had to take these issues home and it would affect their personal lives. So I'd say watch the show if you really want to understand what local journalism is like, but also how there can be conflicts with stories you want to run as a journalist and what the paper really wants. So, yeah, I hope you get a chance to watch this show.